day-to-day basis. Number one tip is you have to set aside a time to listen. Spirit guides are internal, and unless you're finding a time that is away from the distraction of daily life to listen to that, then you're not going to hear it, especially at first. You're not going to hear them, especially at first, because at first what you hear will be subtle, kind of like listening for birds that are very far away, and you need a quiet space where that is the main input that you're hearing. So obviously meditation is the best way to do this. Especially when you're starting, you want to cut out as many external distractions as you want. And when you meditate, I would suggest that you do it daily for like 15 or 20 minutes. Understand that it's a skill that builds up over time. So at the start, maybe for the first week or 2 weeks, you may just be focusing on getting rid of the thoughts, or letting the thoughts, external thoughts, flow by, and focusing on quieting your mind. After that, as you get your meditation to slow down, just sit and listen and be aware. You can look, if you're looking for colors, or listen for anything you hear, but don't put pressure on yourself to hear something that you have decided through your mind that you want to hear. It's just a listening space, and you have to allow them to come to you versus you forcing yourself to hear something. I would suggest some type of ritual or structure when you do this. Number one, if you meditate at the same time every day, it will get you in the habit of doing it. For instance, I meditate when I wake up. I go use the bathroom, I get a drink of water, I make sure I'm awake, fully awake, and 10 minutes later I go sit down and meditate for 15 minutes. I have to do that because if I go about my day, I'll get distracted and somehow I won't find the time to do it. But first thing in the morning is really the best time to meditate, because you're not stressed out yet about the day, so it's easiest to quiet your mind at that time. And also a ritual for your meditation. It doesn't really matter what it is. So this is tip number 2. The first tip is meditate. The second tip is have some type of ritual. Meditate at the same time every day. Have a place that you go during meditation. I have heard of all sorts of things. For instance, when I meditate, I spend a few minutes letting the thoughts of the day pass me by, and then I go to a certain place. In my case, it's a cave with a lake in it, and that's where I go, and I sit there and I wait, and I just enjoy myself. But it's the same thing every day. I go there, I sit, I let my thoughts pass, I sit, I wait. It's expected. It calms the mind to have some type of ritual, and it allows yourself to be in a greater place of calmness, which is when you can listen to things that are more internal. It doesn't matter what your ritual is. I've heard of people imagining themselves sitting by the base of a tree and then going up the tree and coming into white light. I used to go out into space. It really doesn't matter. What matters is that you have something that calms you and brings you peace and provides a setting. Number 2 is when you listen. Number 3 is when you listen, don't listen with your ears or your eyes. Don't expect some great vision to come to you the first time you do this. It could well come down the road. But as you're getting used to this, what you're focusing on is feelings. You're just allowing yourself to feel what you feel. And it might be visual, it might be auditory, it just might be some mild emotion. It might be just a sense that doesn't come in any one of the traditional senses that we're used to sensing in. So allow yourself just to feel whatever you feel. And it may just be a feeling of peace that you feel when you first come in contact with your spirit guide, because your mind isn't at the start set up to really process information from them. So if it's a feeling of peace that you're getting or calmness, that's great. Go with it and continue doing it, and over time it will build. So tip number 4, this is really important. Keep your mind out of it. Don't expect to see some specific archangel or something, hear some specific voice, or have this idea of what your spirit guide has to be based on what other people have said. I've talked to a lot of people who have seen their spirit guides visually. When I had my near-death experience, my spirit guides, I saw them as 2 balls of light. And for the most part, that's how I see them now. They are just balls of light. And for a while, I wanted to see some other big visual like other people were seeing. But that's just not me. That's how my mind works. Not how my mind works. It just prefers to see 2 balls of light. And that for me is fine. So don't compare yourself to other people. Just feel what you feel and sense what you feel and go with that. Number 5, listen in different ways. Once you have built up some type of communication, which like I said, may just be feelings, feeling good, as you go about your day, then once you've got this habit in meditation, as you go about your day, you can then practice and expect to hear them at different points. And often when you're, a month or 2 into meditating and feeling what your spirit guides feel like, that will be when you're going about your day and suddenly you'll get hit by a really strong intuition or a voice or this sense or a visual that they're there and they're helping you intuit something. Or they're giving you an impulse to do something. When you least expect it, they will be there. But don't force that. And understand it can come in different ways, like all different ways. It may come, this feeling may come when you read a magazine article that for some reason you really need the information in there. Or you're talking to someone and your spirit guide is alerting you to the fact that that information is really important to you. Or you just have this feeling you have to go into this bookstore and go to this particular aisle at that time. So it's about being aware. First, you're creating that in the capsule of meditation, and then you're taking that awareness out into the world when you're around day-to-day life. Thanks all for being here.